Wife went to a foreign trip for language studies. She came back a completely different person and now finally confessed that she met another guy there. I'm starting divorce and moved back to my home state. I've been with my wife for 6 years, married for 3. She is 33 and I am 31. From the outside, I think we seemed like a perfect match. We rarely fought, never yelled, and always tried to work through problems calmly and logically. I've always made it a point to be attentive to my partner's needs. I'm very laid back and easygoing, which sometimes made her avoid arguments because she knew it wouldn't provoke me. I was always honest about how I felt, though. She's always had a deep passion for Japanese culture. She studied the language, cooked the cuisine, and even planned multiple trips there. She's been to Japan 3 times, and this year she wanted to go for a month-long immersive program to study the language more intensively. I supported her fully and was happy to help her go because I knew it meant a lot to her. We stayed in daily contact through texts and had a few video calls each week while she was away. When she returned, something felt off. Even at the airport, she seemed distant and hesitant. Over the next couple of days, she started telling me about all these major changes she wanted to make in her life. Some of them were huge, life-altering decisions. I began thinking about how these changes would fit into our life together. Some were manageable, though strange, but I couldn't shake the feeling that she wasn't being entirely herself. Her words, her tone, even her behaviors, it all felt different. Then some private pieces of evidence came up, and I started to piece things together. She left for a short weekend trip with a female friend, and I confronted her directly, asking if something had happened that I should know about. She didn't hide it. She basically admitted it immediately. During her month in Japan, she had met someone, started a relationship, and now planned to move there permanently in the next few weeks. I was shocked and disgusted. I immediately began planning the divorce, looking for lawyers, quitting my job, and arranging to move back to my home state to be closer to my family. She seemed completely fine with how fast everything was moving and continued with her plans without hesitation. She never brought up any issues in our marriage before this. She said she had never even considered cheating before meeting this person and insisted that if it weren't for him, she would never have left our relationship. I can't stop questioning how someone can walk away from a 6-year relationship like this. Was she hiding problems the entire time? Or was this her way of leaving without confrontation or conflict? Her whole family, and mine too, are deeply concerned about her mental state. The choices she made feel so impulsive and reckless. If she comes back months or a year from now, we're not sure we'd even want to reconnect. She basically abandoned everything here for a completely new life elsewhere. Right now, I want nothing to do with her. I'm disgusted that I invested years into this person and never saw this coming. I've realized I'm built for a relationship. I poured my life into ours, and now it feels unbearably empty. I'll probably start dating sooner than I should, but I need something to fill this void, and I think only someone new can do that. I just needed to get this out somewhere. My family is supportive, but I'm not sure I'm ready to share the full story with them yet. Best comments. I'm really sorry you're going through this. She didn't just cheat. She planned a whole new life without you while pretending everything was fine. That's not someone who made a mistake. That's someone who is already mentally checked out and looking for an escape route. You did the right thing by cutting it off fast. Don't question yourself. She showed you exactly who she is. She probably fell in love with the idea of that country, not just the guy. It sounds like she got caught up in some romantic fantasy. New culture, new people, new version of herself. But reality hits hard once the novelty wears off. You seem emotionally stable and grounded. She sounds impulsive and idealistic. Long term, this wouldn't have lasted anyway. You dodged a bullet. It's always wild how someone can just flip the switch like that after years together. But that switch doesn't happen overnight. It's usually months or years of internal rationalization that they never communicate. You weren't blind. She just chose to hide it. Update number 1. 1 year and 2 months later. It's been over a year since she left, and many things happened. The divorce is still slowly moving forward. Since she moved to Japan so fast, The legal stuff has been a mess, and it's taking forever to finalize. I moved to my home state, and I have a nice house. Since our old place was a rental, it was pretty easy to move out. I just had to pay 2 more months of rent and walk away. In the first months, I've heard some things from her family that blew my mind. Apparently, pretty early after she got there, she started selling almost all her stuff here. Clothes, some furniture that she took from our house, the car that she had, everything that tied her to the life here, she sold. I guess she wanted to start fresh or something, but it just felt reckless in hindsight. Over the next few months, I didn't hear anything new from her. My only updates came through my lawyer, who would reach out to her lawyer. At first, he said her lawyer was blocking the process, but then suddenly her lawyer claimed he wasn't representing her anymore. My lawyer told me that I would have to move forward with a divorce by default, which is a process that could take years if she doesn't make any kind of contact. I also spoke to her parents. They said they didn't know much either. They only talked to her once or twice a month, and if the conversation went in a direction she didn't like, she would just end the video call. Basically, they weren't able to ask her the hard questions or get any real answers. Then, about a month ago, her parents contacted me. Apparently, she had gotten herself into serious trouble over there, ran out of money, couldn't support herself, and needed help getting back. They asked if I could step in and help her return. I made it clear I wasn't going to get involved. That wasn't my problem. I had moved on, and after everything she'd done, I wasn't about to bail her out. I knew her parents weren't rich, but surely they could manage a plane ticket from Japan back here. It took a couple of days to get the full story. This time, it was only her mother who came to talk to me. She explained everything. It seems my ex was scammed by this guy, lost all her money, and even ended up taking loans from some shady people while she was still with the guy. Now she wants to leave, but they're holding her passport as collateral and won't give it back until she pays them. I know a lot of people here are going to call me names, but I gave her the money. I knew there was a chance she could be lying, but I couldn't live with myself if something happened to her there. Her mother was convinced she was telling the truth, so I loaned them the money, around $25,000. And then, a couple of weeks later, she showed up at my door. I wasn't expecting it. I knew her parents have transferred the money, but I was not really expecting her. She looked broken. Her hair was short. I never had seen her with hair so short. Her clothes were wrinkled, and she moved slowly like she was carrying the weight of the last year on her shoulders. I barely recognized her. She looked smaller, like all the confidence and energy she used to have had been drained out of her. I invited her in, as the neighbors were already looking at us. She didn't start crying right away, but she finally spoke. She told me everything. She said the guy in Japan tricked her, manipulated her, used her, and scammed her out of everything. The relationship she thought she was building was a lie, and she ended up stranded and broke. She explained how she sold all her stuff early on, thinking she could start a new life, and how it all went downhill from there. She then thanked me for giving the money to her mother and said she's going to pay me back. She told me she had made the biggest mistake of her life and asked if there was any way we could postpone the divorce and try to fix things. I could see in her face she was desperate, humiliated, and completely broken. By this time, she was already crying. Honestly, it was hard to watch. Part of me did feel sorry for her, but the betrayal, the way she walked away from everything we built together, that doesn't just disappear. In the end, I told her I couldn't take her back. I asked her to sign the divorce papers. That was the only way she could truly thank me. I think deep down she knew there wasn't much hope left because she didn't try to push it any further. She just nodded and said she would sign them. She asked for a few days since she needed to hire a new lawyer, but promised she wouldn't fight it and that it would be an easy, fast process. Before leaving, she thanked me again. She hesitated for a second and asked if she could hug me. I told her it was better if we didn't. She almost broke down again, but managed to hold herself together and walked away quietly. It's been a difficult year, and I can't even imagine everything she went through over there. But at the end of the day, everything that happened was her own doing. I can't carry her mistakes anymore. I need to move on. Best comments. Life really came full circle for her, huh? She threw away everything for a fantasy, got scammed, and crawled back broke and humiliated. That's karma in real time. You handled it with compassion and boundaries. That's rare. Most people would have slammed the door in her face. Respect for keeping your integrity. She didn't just lose money. She lost her entire sense of identity. You could tell she thought she was living some movie until reality smacked her hard. What's impressive is that you didn't use that moment to hurt her. You still helped, but you didn't let her back in. Giving her that $25,000 wasn't dumb. It was closure. You helped her one last time, not because she deserved it, but because you needed to know you did the right thing. Now you can move forward with zero guilt. She made her bed. You gave her a chance to climb out. That's more than she ever did for you.